what we need is a modern-day version of the Black Panther Party. We need independent political organizations that are financed privately, because when you take government money, then you can't criticize the government. But we need independent organizations that can teach people about issues and conduct political education and help assist people, because a lot of the work, as Connie described, a lot of the work that we did was trying to help people with their money, with average problems. We tried to help people stay in their houses if they were trying to get evicted. We tried to help people with their utility bills if their electricity or gas or something was about to be cut off. Those types of organizations are needed today in the Black community. It'll be much more difficult to organize, because as soon as you speak up and disagree with the government, they're going to call you a terrorist. So it's going to be much more, difficult to organize, but it's not impossible to organize. You just have to make what you're doing transparent, so that they have no legal reason to come down on you.
Kathleen, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to talk, especially because there's so many people here who are young and really don't have any sense of history about the United States in general and the Black Panther Party in particular. But this image, this is all over, this leaping panther that everyone talked about on the panel before, very few people actually know where this came from. Now, there was an organization that was created after the 1964 Civil Rights Act was passed, and in the Deep South, the effort of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party to displace, in 1964, the Democratic Party said, we support the president and they don't. It was a failure. And so the people in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee decided on another strategy of black political participation. And in the Lowndes County, Alabama, which is 90% black, 100% property owned by white, never in history has ever had an elected official who was black. The Lowndes County Freedom Organization was created to run black candidates. They said, okay, we're going to try and have our independent political organization. And Stokely Carmichael, who made the call for black power, was identified with it. Rap Brown was identified with it. And so they wanted a logo for the Lowndes County Freedom Organization. The Democratic Party in Alabama had a logo, which was a rooster, and it had a ribbon around it, and it said, white supremacy for the right. And so they said, we need our logo, because a lot of people vote by logo, not by word. And they said, they decided they wanted a panther. And a student at Tuskegee copied the mascot of the Clark football team, which was the Panthers, and traced it. And that's why it looks like that, it's the kind you see on a jersey. And they put it on their logo, and the newspaper started calling the Lowndes County Freedom Organization the Black Panther Party because of their logo, and they identified the Black Panther with Black Power. And so the people in Lowndes County, the SNCC organizers, said, pull the lever for the Black Panther. Now, Huey Newton had seen a pamphlet that John Hewlett, who was running for sheriff in Lowndes County, and he had said, pull the lever of the Black Panther. He and Bobby Seale had created a platform, a 10-point program for an organization that they wanted to start. And they had the outline, they sort of had the fundamental principles of the organization, but they didn't have a name. And so they saw this pamphlet and they said, oh, okay, well, their part, the Black Power movement is what stimulated. The Black Panther Party started in October of 1966, so this is like only a few months after the call for Black Power out of Mississippi. And they said, well, we want to do what they're doing, but we want to be identified with Black Power, but we don't want to run candidates. So the name became the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. And Huey Newton actually sent a letter to the SNCC office in Atlanta and asked permission to use this picture. So that's what I think that symbolizes, is that the motion that became the Black Panther Party that spread all across the United States and into other countries and across, to North Africa, it began among the most oppressed, the most excluded, the most exploited people you can find, the Black Belt of Alabama, who decided they were going to speak for themselves. They were going to stand up. They were going to challenge this oligarchy in which they were living. And that spirit and that energy continues. And the Black Panther Party itself, it did spread, but not because people were so clever in California that they could go around and organize. No, people organized themselves and announced that they were the Black Panther Party. They took the name. They wanted to be Black Panthers. Panthers. And sometimes they get into conflicts with the organization, they change the name. Okay, we're not Black Panthers, we're Sons of Malcolm, or we're this. And then the Panthers got in so much trouble with the police, they said, well, we can't have any more Panthers. It's just too much. We can't take this. It's, you know, the treasury was depleted, and people were getting arrested. And it says, take off those leather jackets, take off those berets. Do not organize any more chapters with that name. You could be National Committee to Combat Fascism. So then it became National Committee to Combat Fascism. And so that there's this energy in the spirit to do something under the banner of the Black Panther. But I think what you need to recognize is what's important is that spirit, and that energy, and that commitment, and how it ties into history of a community that was oppressed and exploited and willing to stand up and do something. And it's not necessarily the name. The name is a symbol, but it's the spirit that's important.